The third time is the charm. Again, guys, we're back. It's office hours. What questions do you guys have? We're going to dive right into your questions again here during office hours every Thursday at 4 o'clock if you're in the Pacific Standard Time Zone, at 7 o'clock if you're on the East Coast Standard Time. And if you are on Central Standard Time, that means that you are at 6 o'clock right now. So anyway, we're here. We're sipping some coffee at Pache Mama Coffee. And we're basically just here to take your questions. Now, who is this office hours for? This office hours is for really anyone that is following the Dr. Mondo page, but it's specifically some time that I set aside for people in my Rewriting Your Story program. If you're not familiar with the program, go over to drmondo.org, click on programs, or you can access it at drmondo.org/mystory. And basically what it is, it's an 8-week course that takes you through the process of rewriting your story and renegotiating your relationship with food. So many of you right now have been either writing in with questions or feedback as you go through the 8 stages of the program. Some common feedback that I get the longer we go into this program is, hey, life is getting busy, but I'm realizing so many different things as a result of taking this program. Of course, that's what I want to hear. People are talking about their relationship with food changing, talking about seeing things differently as a result of being in the program, and that's exactly what I want to hear. So I'm always excited to get that feedback. Some feedback that I got this week from someone was, and they wanted me to share this on the live feed, is that one of the things the programs help them do is realize that they actually do have emotions that are triggered at times before they're going to eat. And for some of us, that's a revelation. A lot of us maybe sometimes don't pair our emotions with food. We don't realize how when we're stressed out, we don't realize how, let's go a little bit deeper, when we're depressed, when we're fear of being alone or abandoned. And these are all some big feelings that some of us don't even realize we're living with. But when you go through this program, you'll realize that some of us have experiences with these deeper emotions. And when we experience them and we really allow them to be incorporated into our story, it gives us a tremendous amount of empowerment, because now we can kind of own that and we can kind of heal that. But on top of that, when it comes up in key pivotal moments of our life, and it comes up and it all of a sudden leads to our brain wanting to reroute to look for food as a form of comfort, as a form of escape, as a way to numb the pain, we're able to now stay emotionally engaged to sit with that and find what the real source of comfort that we need is. And oftentimes, while food can provide a distraction, it's never comfort for the emotion. So that is what a lot of people have been talking about this week, is saying that the program is helping me realize what emotions I'm actually having. Number one, being aware of my emotional process. Number two, seeing how at times when I get a trigger to eat, that if I reverse engineer that, I step back and I realize that often those triggers are being triggered emotionally. And so I have to step back and say, is this really what I need to feel comfort around that pain or that emotion? Jane Buchanan is one of the first people that went through the program at a gym called P2P. And if anyone is affiliated with P2P, please give us a like, a heart, or something great. That's my cousin Lauren on there too. I love you and I miss you. Lauren is out in Austin, Texas. Sorry, I saw that. And you need to meet your little niece Isabella when you get a chance to, Lauren. I can't wait to see you, and I love you. Good to hear from you. And Jane Buchanan, Jane was one of the first folks to go through the program at P2P. I watched her amazing transformation story. Mandy Collins was another one of the initial folks that went through that first program that we had at P2P. And if you have any experience with the program that you want to share, Jane, maybe you could speak and share some of your testimony. So if it did impact your life in any sort of way, maybe share with people a little bit about that. If there's a question that you had, you've actually been sitting on that knowledge now, and you've gone through that process. It's been over a year now. So what's it been like to kind of just go off and take a year away from the program? How's that impacting you? Would love to hear about that. Thank you so much for your feedback. So yeah, give me some feedback in here. Again, I see people coming in. So the way office hours work simply is, if you are interested in asking any question related to your health transformation, any question related to psychology, or a question that you'd want to ask a therapist, I'm here basically right now during these office. So again, if you got the questions, I got the time. And if not, just like any professor would say during office hours, if not, that's all right. We'll see you Tuesday, because Tuesday night is when we have our big show. And the show on Tuesday night is Rewriting Your Story. We're not too creative here. We just use the same name over and over. I swear it's strategic. It's to keep getting you thinking about rewriting your story, because that's what this program is all about. That's what my mission is all about. But Tuesday nights, we interview someone about their weight loss transformation, and we ask them we ask them to tell the untold story behind their transformation. So many people see the before and after pics, but they don't actually get to hear what it was like to go through that transformation in a marriage, or what it was like to go through that transformation emotionally, or how they lost the weight but still saw themselves as being overweight in the mirror, and how they had to learn self-love separate from the scale, separate from dress sizes. So those are things we talk about on Tuesday night's broadcast, and that's coming up this Tuesday night. And I have a really exciting announcement that I'm telling you guys right now who are here for office hours, which is we're actually having back a guest that we had on once before. He and his wife were on Tim and Heather Kaufman. So if anyone knows Tim and Heather Kaufman, give me a like, give me a love. Tim and Heather Kaufman were on the broadcast about a month ago, and we had about 5,000 views of that broadcast, which, you know, to give you a little bit of an idea, this is just a little Facebook page that we don't put any ad budget in trying to get, pushed out there on Facebook. It's just a Facebook page that, by word of mouth, by you guys sharing this message, has been able to circulate. And when they were on, we had 5,000 people who were watching that, which is pretty unbelievable. And so anyway, it's just really cool to have Tim and his wife Heather back on. And they'll be on again this Tuesday. Tim will, Heather I need to get confirmation on, but they will have them back. And I am so excited to be able to talk to them. The thing we're gonna be talking about is, why do we let old habits creep back in? And throw me a wow button if you know what I'm talking about. Old habits. Why do we let old habits creep back in? Tim is someone that's lost over 150 pounds. He's kept it off. He just got through running. It wasn't even a marathon. It was I think it was an ultra. He'll tell you all about it. But this is a guy that could barely walk. He had so many physical ailments. And not only did he lose the weight, but he actually transformed his entire story. So it was so much more than just weight loss. And it was an amazing transformation. So that's Tuesday night. Again, you can come back Tuesday night, and we will have that for you at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. But for now, what we're doing on Thursdays is tonight, we are taking your questions, and I'm going to go through some of your questions right now because I see some activity happening on the feed. That's good. How are you guys doing? That's basically what I'm here for. How are you doing? What questions are coming up for you? I have some people that have submitted questions prior to the start of this live broadcast. I will get to some of those if we have time. But for those of you that are on the live broadcast, if you have questions, if you have feedback, and this can be anything under the sun. It can be related to weight loss. It can be related to anything therapy related, even stuff that you might consider to be common stuff like depression, anxiety, marital struggles. Rewriting your story is not limited only to weight loss. And many people know that, right? Rewriting your story is related to your entire life. Rewriting your story is something that happens in addiction. Rewriting your story is something that happens when you go through a difficult, troubling time in your life. So rewriting your story is bigger than weight loss. So if some of you are here and saying, I'm not sure if this question is related to, ask it, right? It is related to everything that we are talking about on this page, and whether it's through the program or not. So go ahead and ask your questions. Before we get started, again, I want to go ahead and give some love because I'm seeing it coming in. We have people from gyms all across the country. We have people in Australia that are doing the program right now. I'm so excited to stay up with those people and watch them go through their transformations and rewriting their story. But we have gym affiliates here that I want to recognize in the United States. And they are currently sending tons of folks through this program in an 8-week cohort model system. The only people that get to do that are the gym affiliates. So I want to recognize out in Chicago, Fitco Gym. If you're part of Fitco Gym and you are tuning in, let us know. Say something down below. We also have Bar None Gym, Wilson Thomas's gym out in Kansas City. And miss you guys. Definitely going to get back out there soon. So again, I want to say hello to the family out there. And then we have Results Gym here in Sacramento. If you're part of the Results Gym family, Results Gym was the first gym to make this happen. Matt Weaver, who we actually had on the Tuesday night show. If you haven't seen that episode, it's episode 3. Check it out. Matt's story is incredible. Matt Weaver and Results Gym. There's 11 locations here in Sacramento. If you're part of any of those locations, let us know below. Let us know which gym you go to. Results is getting ready to launch their Dr. Mondo program very soon. We'll have a start date that's going to be happening in the next couple months. So stay tuned because we will be coming back to Results Gym in the next couple months. And then we also have P2P. So if you are part of P2P and Latasha's amazing community out in the Bay Area, please let us know as well. And let us know how you're doing, because some of you guys from both Results and P2P were part of the initial gyms that we worked with. Let us know. Finally, there's some major announcements that we have. We're going to be coming back to P2P. We're coming back to Results. Those are 2 huge announcements. I'll have dates on that soon. It'll probably be in late May. We're also going to be launching with 2 new gyms, one in Jersey City and another in Washington, D.C., Maryland area. So there's lots of exciting things that are happening right now. And, just to kind of give you a little bit into my world, my whole mission is to change how people get help when they're looking to have a transformation with their health. I think right now we only treat the symptom and we don't unfortunately treat the root cause of what's going on in someone's life. I think that I can give you the greatest access to all these amazing gyms that I just told you. But for some of us, myself included, because I've lived it in my story, if we don't reckon with the things in our life that are truly causing us stress, that are truly causing us imbalance, whether it's a lack of knowing how to put ourselves first, or whether it's being in unhealthy relationships, or whether it's having an unhealthy work-life balance, whatever it may be, if we don't fix those things first, how many people know we'll never have success in the other areas of life, even if we have the best gym family, even if we have the best program to follow? We need to first rewrite our story, and then the weight loss and the health transformation falls into place. So my goal with the speaking, when I'm going around the country, my goal when I'm partnering with these gyms is to find like-minded people who get this, who have the same message, the same desires that I do, to transform the health industry and make treating the inside, so to speak, treating the emotional, psychological part of this also a priority in the transformation, not just treating the body, but also treating the mind and the emotions, relationships, all of that. So that's what we're trying to do with this program. That's what we're trying to do with this brand. That's what we're trying to do with this message that we have here. So again, thank you guys all for tuning in. And I'm going to go back all the way up. And I'm just going to scroll through here. Craig says, trying to be concise. When you mentally struggle with your eating habits, not necessarily eating badly, what are some things you can do to take your mind off of it and feel better about life? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Craig. Craig is someone that I want to just let everyone know tunes in to most of these broadcasts. He always has great questions, always has great feedback. I really appreciate you, Craig. I really, really do. This is the first question, though, that I've heard you ask directly in one of these office hours, so I'm feeling like I really want to make sure that I get it. If there's more that I'm not getting as I start to answer this, just go ahead and let me know. But again, you're saying, Craig's question is, when you mentally struggle with your eating habits, not necessarily eating badly, but it's more of a mental thing, what are some things you can do to take your mind off of it and feel better about life? I think kind of what I hear on that is that sometimes some of us can get really wrapped up into the rigidity of wanting to be healthy. Sometimes we say in therapy, the solution is the problem. And people have to think about that for a minute. The solution is the problem. What does that mean? Sometimes our solutions to being healthy are to micromanage our every move, right? To log every calorie, to really analyze every food decision, to really work out extra hard in the gym. And what ultimately ends up happening is that we feel, I think in a sense what Craig is saying, that we feel like we almost need a vacation from all the mental anguish of just trying to stay healthy. We might be relatively doing well, but we feel like we're not, and we feel like just the beating ourselves up or the monitoring is enough to kind of take on a job of its own. So that's what I take from your question, Craig. And what I would tell you is that a lot of times we have to find what works for us. For some of us, it's more of a gray area approach. So we have to find a way to kind of live in the gray a little bit. For some of us, we find that, and I say some of us, like in my life, I could tell you that I don't weigh myself anymore. And, that's a controversial thing. Some people really get on me for that. They go, God, don't you want to know what you weigh? Or don't you think that's unhealthy not to weigh yourself? For me personally, and my coach, Sharon McCrae, who's on here now, she will tell you this, that for me, I went through a point of talking that through with a coach. And what I eventually came to realize about myself is that, when I weigh myself, it tends to get me in this mental battle that Craig's talking about, where I'm constantly monitoring myself. And if I have good results on the scale, it's almost like I'm really happy and then I celebrate with food. And if I have bad results on the scale, then it's almost like I get frustrated and I don't want to try. So for me, what I've learned is that the scale is not a great tool for me. The scale increases my obsessive thinking about my health. And the scale gets me away from what really matters. There was a time in my recent journey with going whole foods plant-based that, Sharon, I was going through a mini crisis because I thought, oh no, I feel like I've gained weight, even though I haven't seen the scale. I just feel it, oh no. And she's saying, look, remember your why. See, Sharon hasn't even been through the program, and she's reminding me of what the program's all about. Remember your why, which is stage 2 of this program. Remember your why. Why are you doing this? It was never about weight loss. When I contacted Sharon back in September of last year, September 5th, it was my start day on my whole foods plant-based journey. It was never about losing weight. It was all about having energy for my kids. Now, fast forward, well, we'll go back. September 5th, I knew another kid was on the way. Let's fast forward. On St. Patrick's Day, our little Isabella came into this world, and she's now here. And now I have 2 young, amazing kids in my life, and I have tons of energy. And that is why I'm focusing on my health. That is why I get up and each day try to make healthy food choices, not because of some number on a scale. So sometimes we have to reevaluate and accept, as I look at my story, how am I traditionally in response to some of these measurement tools? If I keep a food log, do I obsess over it? For some people, they can keep a food log, they can weigh themselves. It does nothing to them emotionally. And for those people, those are great methods and tools. Use them. But everyone's different. What ends up triggering some of that obsessive thinking? And once you can pinpoint it, you have to find a way to step away from it and make it about the bigger picture. And I really do hope that that helps answer your question. Bryant Garcia says, glad to have you back. Man, I'm glad to be here, but you and I still need to catch up, Bryant. And so I know we've been missing each other, but yeah, we need to catch up very, very soon, my man. I'm just going down here systematically, but I saw this comment and I will come back down. I think you left another one. I'm going to come back and look at it. Mandy Collins, we need to talk about connecting. We need to connect, Mandy. Make sure that you reach out to me when you get a chance. Mandy is someone that's featured actually in some of our promotional materials. And in those promotional materials, basically what we're talking about in there is that, Mandy's transformation. Mandy needs to be out speaking. So Mandy, if you're not speaking now, we need to talk. You're definitely going to be speaking. She's spoken at my events before. And if you're not telling your story at my events, I hope you're telling it other places. But Mandy has an amazing, amazing, amazing transformation. In fact, Mandy would be a great person to have on our Tuesday night show. So Mandy, if you're listening, I have lots of ideas in just 60 seconds of seeing your name and seeing your comments about ways that we could really get your story out there, because you have such an amazing story. So anyway, Mandy Collins, so good to see you. And yes, thank you so much. Congratulations on the beautiful family. Thank you so much. It truly blessed. It's been pretty crazy. Like, I don't think I've fully grasped that I have a little daughter yet. every day it hits me more and more. And this is actually kind of the way I processed it with Antonio too. It's like every day a little bit more and more I'm starting to realize like, wow, like that is my son. Wow, like every day I realize it more and more. I don't know, I'm just slow on the upload. But anyway, so it's been really awesome. And yeah, it's just been so cool. My wife is truly the warrior. She is amazing. Watching her go through that process twice, just the way she is with our family, she's just absolutely amazing. So very, very blessed for my kids and for her. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And Mandy's, now I'm reading through these, and Mandy said, just another challenge to lose the weight after I gain back some weight. So you know what? I'm so proud of you. Again, this is why you need to be telling your story. Because, I'm curious what it was like leading up to that challenge. You went back to do a challenge because you needed to probably get a little bit healthier. You knew that would help you. But so often, shame creeps in and we hide from the very thing that we know can help us. And so I don't know if that was kind of your experience, but if so, I would love to hear more about that. And I'm so proud of you that you were able to get back in. And again, I always said to you, it's a journey, not a destination. Since I saw you last, I gained weight and lost it back too. I think, the reality is that we're always trying to find what works long term and settle in. We want to stay steady. But sometimes as we're learning, the weight fluctuates some. We just have to stay in the game. And so I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you. So great job. Great job. Great to hear from you. Nicole, what is going on, Nicole? Yeah, I'm going to read Nicole's question. So if anyone, just to highlight real quick, Nicole is someone that is very near and dear to my heart. When I got a chance to go out to Kansas City, got a chance to get to know Nicole. And so Nicole, I know that we're in contact, but again, I always appreciate when you take the time to log on to these office hours. So I'm excited to have you here. I'm struggling to find time to sit down and do the stages, and I hear that a lot. So I'll say that off the bat. I'm an all or nothing person, so unless I have time to sit with my journal and colored pens to write notes, you gotta have the colored pens, right? Not just the journal time, but the colored pens. So you really all are all or nothing. It sounds like someone I know. I could be that way too. Why can't I just watch your lessons laying in bed? Why do I feel like I'm so far behind and I feel I can't catch up? I hope this makes sense. I think, again, part of what I find when I look at the profile, not just of you, Nicole, but of so many of us that struggle with this stuff, is that part of what happens is that a lot of us who struggle with our weight and our health, we're a little bit of perfectionists. So what that means is that, we are all or nothing. And the things in our life that we have no choice to be all or nothing about, like work or like being there and different various responsible roles that we have, those areas we just throw ourselves into. But when it comes to our health, we can kind of be waiting for the right time. And unfortunately, there's never a right time to get healthy. There's never a right time to take self-care. Often, unfortunately, what it looks like is it comes in small doses. So what I would say is you're going to have to, unfortunately, start getting comfortable being uncomfortable with taking this stuff in small doses. It won't look perfect. We might go on one stage and you might only be able to listen to half the video lessons, but that is something. And I'm starting to realize that in my spiritual life. I'm starting to realize that in personal growth, there are many books that I've started and haven't finished. Before, that would have killed me. I wouldn't have wanted to start the book if I couldn't read the whole thing. There are many podcasts that I've listened to, and I've listened to 80% of them, and I didn't finish it. The old me would have been so frustrated by that, but the old me never would have started that podcast. The old me never would have started that book. So the reality is that I'm glad I'm even trying, because part of me says, just like you do, if you're not going to do it the whole way, don't do it at all. But what we have to do is realize that just sometimes all it takes is a little bit. It could be a little bit of the video lesson that you take in. It could be just one little exercise of doing meditation or sitting in some of these journal exercises that is enough to change something for you. So that's what I want to encourage you. It's a different way of thinking. This material you can always come back and access. So why not just take it step by step? And, we can talk more. You have to make intentional time. That's the other thing I'll say too is if you can, and it's really struggle, make one time a day that you set aside 15 to 20 minutes, okay? So just 15 to 20 minutes a day that you set aside, where in that 15 or 20 minutes, it's time for you. Some of the time you'll do the video lessons, some of the time you'll journal, some of the times you'll just sit and catch your breath, or you'll focus on your breathing. I don't care what you do, but as long as it's time for you, that will make an impact. This program's still going to be here at the end of that 20 minutes. Let's not get in a perfectionist mindset, and it takes one to know one. That's why I'm talking to you like that. Linda Hernandez, how are you doing? Again, talk about P2P family. P2P, love you guys. Yeah, I know, Mandy, I feel the same way. P2P, yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad P2P. Jane, another person that needs to be featured. Maybe we can do a 2-for-1. Maybe we can get Jane and Mandy on the same broadcast, or maybe we could just stagger it, but we need to maybe do a Tuesday night, let's talk about it, where it's both of you guys come on and talk about your weight loss story, and we can talk about the untold stuff behind the scenes. You've also been through the program, so it would be really helpful to get your perspective. Jane says, wow, I have lost 123.4 pounds over the last 7.5 years. Folks, just sit with that for a minute. 123.4 pounds over the last 7.5 years. A couple things stand out to me. The amount of weight that you've lost is amazing and so impressive and incredible. But the second is that you said over 7.5 years. Most people think of it as like, I got to make it through this instantly. I got to make it through. You know what? I love the fact that you are now saying to yourself, no, I'm just going to take the time. It's a journey, not a destination. Great job. 7.5 years. I totally have moments of falling back into old habits. Yes, I know. That's part of the journey. Rewriting your story is so important. I used to tell myself that my weight loss will only be temporary because I've always lost and gained it right back. Yeah, your program helped me to rewrite my story. Now I know that because I slip up, it doesn't mean I have to fall. Thank you. That warms my heart, and it warms my heart because it's so hard for me to know whether or not this stuff is landing, honestly. I get feedback. I'm a perfectionist too. I want everyone who takes the program to write me and say that the program was really helpful and that it changed their lives, not for my own satisfaction, but because I want people to get this. We're living in bondage to shame. We're living in bondage right now to these unlofty expectations of what it means to be healthy. And I want people to start celebrating who they are and loving themselves today. And I think that everything else will fall into place. So when you talk about a principle like that, of just being able to have perspective, that when you slip up, it's not all over. It's not all left it's not all forgotten. That you haven't totally slipped up and ruined it, which shame often tells us. The fact that you're able to get that, Jane, that means a lot to me. Can't even tell you. That means so much to me, and thank you so much for sharing that. And again, reach out. I want to get in touch with you and Mandy. We need to find a way to get you guys on either a dual or on separate nights where we have you guys share your story on a Tuesday night. We're going to be launching with P2P. Talk to Latasha. I just talked to her the other day and let her know about this idea that I'm having right now as it comes to me, which is we need to have you guys tell your story because it's going to be so vital for other people who want to start this process too at P2P. Yeah. Hey, Sharon, how are you? You don't even know what you're measuring on the scale. Go by how you feel. Beautiful family. And Sharon, I'll tell you, you guys, some of you, I just tell you, every time I do one of these broadcasts, I'm going to tell you about Sharon McCrae because she's my coach, and she's more than a coach. She's just an amazing human being, and she's really impacted my life in such a huge way. I would not have been plant-based. I would not have gotten healthy this last 6 or 7 months if it wasn't for Sharon and her guidance and her tough love and her agape love and all kinds of it that she's given me have just been unbelievable. So thank you. And yeah, Sharon has taught me intuitive eating without ever mentioning the term intuitive eating. I think she mentioned it actually. I should give her more credit than that. But she's told me, go by what you feel. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Listen to your body. Are you feeling better? That's what makes a difference. Those are things and those are words that when you hear them come out of me, it's because I've lived them through Sharon. So thank you so much, Sharon. Jane said, non-scale victories are so important. They're so much more important than the number on the scale. The number is a total head trick. It is. And we can go into all the reasons why, sodium and what it does to our weight and how we retain water. I mean, the scale is just not that great of a measurement source for these victories, especially if the goal is not weight loss, but to rewrite our story. So for some of us, rewriting our story doesn't have weight loss be a part of that. but it's not everything. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to unlock living the lives that you've always wanted to live. I want you guys to have the relationships you've always wanted to have. I want you as parents to get off the sidelines and back into the game of life with your kids. Those are the things that I want you to focus on in your health transformations. If you focus on that, and then you take a look at the holistic approach to weight loss, you'll find that everything falls into place. So thank you so much. Nicole, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thanks for the answer, Nicole. Hey, Diane, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for the answer, Nicole's post. I needed to hear that answer advice again. Awesome. Oh, yeah, we love you, Jane. Thank you. All the hearts, absolutely. Your body speaks to you if you listen. You are doing that now, and it's awesome. Man, does it speak to you. You know, guys, I mean, one of the things I'll tell you that when you have diet, and I'm not in the lane to give you a ton of, I'm not a nutrition expert. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. But I will tell you, I can give you my experience, okay? So in my experience, a lot of times I was eating because I thought I should eat. But I was never asking myself or listening to my body and saying, am I hungry? What I've found now is that when I tune into my body, there are times where I was going to go eat food, and it wasn't just always emotional reasons. A lot of that I had cleaned up through my own work that I did in therapy, but sometimes it was just, like out of this like habit that I was doing. Like I was used to grabbing food at certain times. So it really is important to just slow down. Slow down while you're eating. Slow down before you make the choice to eat. If your body's really hungry, then honor your body. And if you do that, you find that a lot of times your body starts to fall into place in terms of the weight that it just wants or desires to be at. So thank you so much. And also have a comment here. Yes, live the life you want to live. You all deserve that. We all deserve that. The person who just made the comment there, you're going to hear a lot more from her. She is so amazing. Her name is Ashley Cook, and Ashley, I'm so excited. This is the first time I've had a chance to tell anyone. So if you guys are still here in office hours, a quick little announcement that Ashley Cook is now taking over the operations management. She's taking over strategy. She's going to basically be the brainchild of so much of the behind the scenes stuff, as well as a role that you will see in front of the camera at times, whether she knows it or not, because she has an amazing story of empowerment. She has an amazing story, an experience of rewriting her story, and I am so honored to have her be coming on board to work alongside me in partnership. She's going to be helping me just basically do more of what I want to do, which is just focus on doing these Facebook Lives, doing more time in front of audiences where I can speak and get the message out. She's going to allow me to do all of that. Jane Buchanan said, I love Ashley Cook. I'll tell you what, if anyone knows her, then you feel the same way, I guarantee it. And if you don't love her, that means you just haven't met her, and you will. You'll meet her soon. And you will love her. And she has an amazing, amazing story, amazing energy. And so, again, I'm just so excited to have her on board. It's just a really exciting time right now. To kind of just spend a minute before we end these office hours. It's an exciting time just now for what's happening. There seems to be some momentum behind this movement. People are receptive to the message that you are worthy. They're receptive to the message that weight loss is more than just the number on a scale, that it's more than just what you put in your mouth, that there's this transformation that happens internally that really is important. We need to focus on it. There are some doors that are opening right now for this program and for this message. And honestly, if it were just me, and I didn't have a team behind me, if I didn't have my wife at home who supports me so much with our family, if I didn't have Ashley coming on board and supporting me with all the strategy and the social media, and you'll see she's taken over on Easter Sunday very fittingly because she's a blessing, and she'll be taking over, and you'll see the transformation that happens on social media as she takes over, and the strategy and the operation stuff and how that will continue to improve. But to have this team come around me, to have Daniel Robertson, who is more than a videographer to me, he is just one of the most amazingly gifted young talents in the Sacramento area when it comes to videography, and he is a part of this team. And when I say a part of this team, what I basically mean is that these are all like-minded people converging at the same time. And I don't think that any of us is bigger than the next. I think we're all super, super important. And it's just been really cool to be able to come alongside people that get it. You know, Ashley and Daniel, a quick little story that I'll end with is that they both have only been in this world with this program for, gosh, I don't know, like Ashley's been a couple weeks and Daniel's been a little bit longer than that. And immediately they get the message. Daniel communicated it back to me by going on the road with me to Kansas City. He filmed videos without my prompting. He put 2-minute videos together, and it was exactly the message that I wanted to deliver. That told me that he was supposed to, be a part of this, and that he gets it, that he understands. He's got such a huge, compassionate heart. So it's so exciting to have him on board. And then Ashley actually recently did a photo shoot with me. And we had such a good time doing the photo shoot, and some of those pictures are coming out in this next month. That we talked, and it just made sense that we had to collaborate on a bigger level. And she instantly got this message because it's something that she's experienced in her own life too. So when you see all of this happening, I don't know, it's just really exciting. It's exciting to be a part of this. For myself, to just watch all of these people. We keep saying everyone's on this escalator. We're all going somewhere, and all of our goals is to help people. And so we know that if we're on this escalator together, we're going up, and that means more people's lives are being impacted in a positive way. And that's what it's all about. So again, guys, that's just a little bit of an update on what's going on. So many exciting things. We're going to be coming back at you again Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, at 7 p.m. if you're in the Mountain Time Zone. No, that's actually not right. So don't tune in at 7 p.m. because then it would be too late, and there's no time zone where that would make sense. However, if it's 8 p.m. and you're in the Central Time Zone where some of our gyms are at, or if you're on the East Coast and it's 9 p.m. on Tuesday, tune in. We have Tim Kaufman. I took a couple-week break to spend some time with the family, but I am back, and I'm back bringing you part 2 of our interview with Tim Kaufman. He was the highest rated guest that we had the last 2 months. So what better person to bring back? Not that all the guests haven't been amazing, because they have, but there's been so many people that ended up watching that interview, asking me about him, wanting Tim back. So we're going to bring Tim back this week. It'll be on Tuesday. Make sure that you guys tune in. And there's also this other guy watching who is part of the team, whether he knows it or not. It is Cruz James Conrad. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Cruz is one of the most hard-working guys that you will find on the grid. And if you're familiar with Midtown, you know it has a grid. He runs Pachamama's operations, and this is where we're actually filming from today, is Pachamama. I'll give you a quick little tour. So there's people out here that are working right now on stuff, wondering who the heck this guy is. In this room, behind the giant grapes, yes, those are grapes, in case you're wondering. But anyway, Cruz has been nice enough to let us use some of these rooms here at Pachamama for some big meetings that we've had, and for this Facebook Live here tonight. So this is Pachamama's coffee. Come get it. This is an espresso shot. This is a little bit of the coffee regions that Pachamama works with. They don't just do coffee, but they actually go into these countries and partner with the local farmers. They make them part of their co-op. They make them part of their leadership management meetings, and they make them part of the investment team, and they make them on or in the boardroom for big decision-making meetings. So it is more than just your traditional brand of coffee. They are unbelievable. So thank you so much, Cruz. You are part of the Dr. Mondo family because you're part of our family, and we see you like 3 times a day, especially now that you have this location here in Midtown, which we're so excited about. So anyway, thank you, Cruz. Thank you, Pachamama. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in again. I'll put the link, if you're not in the program already for rewriting your story, I'll put the link in below. You can sign up today, and you can get started right now. And you can come each week, Thursday, and we'll have our office hours. So thank you so much for everyone tuning in. We will see you guys on Tuesday for our Facebook Live. We'll see you in a week for our office hours. You guys take care.